Hello everyone, welcome to this demo session of AZ-500 Azure Security Technologies. My name is Pradeep Rane, and as you can see, I have a few certifications related to Azure, and one of them is AZ-500. I've got more than 19 years of experience with Microsoft Infra products, which include your all System Center products, starting from SCCM, SCOM, System Center Orchestrator, SCSM, SCVMM. Uh, of late, I've been taking more trainings towards your Azure and Office 365. Teams I've especially mentioned because I used to take a lot of trainings on Skype for Business Server, and now things have changed towards Team, uh, Exchange, as well as the normal Windows Server. I've been a MCT since quite some time now. Though, if you ask my background, I started or I did my first MCSE on NT 4.0. That was way back in 1998. And since then, I again went back and cleared my MCSE and MCT part starting from 2003 onwards. Right. So this Azure security course is more related to the security which we can apply on the Azure portal side or when we go towards the Azure cloud. So don't be mistaken that this is a typical security training. It is only related to what all things we can do on Azure. Uh, we have almost four modules to be covered in 32 hours of time. And if I go through the agenda, it is starting with identity and access. Before going to the through the agenda, I would rather uh, ask everyone that before attending this course, it would be beneficial that you have gone through at least the basics of Azure, which is your 103, so that you guys can go ahead and understand which all places what kind of security comes into picture. Right, so coming back to our course agenda, manage identity and access talks more about the privileged identity management, which we would be covering in detail along with the labs. We have Azure Active Directory and what are the workloads. We would be talking about security from Azure subscription point of view, platform protection. So as we know, Azure is infrastructure as a service, software as a service, and then you have platform as a service. Uh, SaaS, the best example is Office 365 infrastructure. We go ahead and create our virtual machines on Azure. Platform, the best example would be your SQL instance, which we can directly go ahead and create on Azure platform. So security from platform protection point of view, what all things are covered in that. We'll be talking about Azure networking and how to secure it, how to implement the host security platform, and again, subscription security. So earlier we are talking security from the subscription point of view. In module 2, we are implementing that security. Uh, the third module talks about the services, the policies which come into picture, and Azure has recently launched something which is known as Azure Security Center. Pretty good thing which I find where you can go ahead and see what all vulnerabilities are there within your Azure cloud, and it actually goes ahead and fixes quite a few of them. How to get alerts, respond and remediate to the issues. So respond and remediate to the issues can be one part can be using Azure Security Center also. And as we have been doing, create security baseline since long on premises also, that whatever minimum service level or service pack we require for a particular Windows server or a desktop, so we can create baselines, and in the backend it takes care of it. Module 4 talks about data as well as applications. So When we talk about data, even when we are using Office 365, our data is going towards the cloud. Applications, we might have our own custom applications, or when we talk about SaaS applications, how to protect them, how to secure them. Certain things can be done directly from Azure, certain things are done from the Office 365 or M365 point of view. So, security policies to manage data. Now, data management can come into picture where many companies where I've done quite a few projects, they talk about we need security on data on transit as well as data at rest. We'll be talking about all those things, how the data infrastructure would be there. As it says, encryption for data at rest. So when my data is sitting back in cloud, not getting used, how I can make sure that no one is trying to access it. And then comes is your application security, implementing security validations while creating or developing an application, how we would go ahead and secure applications, and Azure Vault Key or Azure Key Vault, how that is used in the security point of view. So we would be covering all these topics in total 32 hours of time. There would be a lot of discussions around these points. There are a lot of labs. Few of them I would be showing it to you how to go about it. Few I would be sharing the lab documents with you where you can go ahead and do it yourself. The benefit of this course is that we are providing you a free Azure Pass where you can go ahead and do your own labs. Even if you want to try something else, you can try that. Uh, we would be providing you Microsoft official curriculum so that whatever we are discussing, whatever we are going through in the PPT, you have a book available which you can refer it later. And we would be providing you the access to this recorded video once the training is over. So at any point of time, if you guys want to go ahead and refer anything, the video would be available to you directly. We would be providing you a particular access from where you can watch the video. So it won't be downloadable, but yes, you guys can go ahead and watch it at any point of time. Something similar like you get it on Udemy or any other platform. If you guys are interested in certification area, then you can see identity access has got around 20 to 25% of questions. Most of the questions are from platform protection point of view, almost 35 to 40%. Operations 15 to 20%, and again the last one, which is data and applications, around 30 to 35%. So it just tells you that these many questions will come from this kind of area, and the higher percentage obviously means you'll get more questions related from that area. My suggestion, because I have already given the exam, would be that go ahead and practice a lot on cloud, so there are quite a few labs available, official labs. If you complete all of them, try to understand it from your point of view. I'll definitely be there to make you understand what all things are being done. But then in training, everything cannot be covered. So if you're planning for certification, it would be better you guys go ahead and start doing the similar things which you have done while doing the training, and try to understand it as much as possible, what exactly is happening in the backend. From the labs point of view, as I said, we would be providing you a free pass available to you from where you can go ahead and access the portal. Request to you guys would be, if you have already done Azure training in your past and you have used a particular account, don't use the same account for AZ-500. I would request you to go ahead and create a new Outlook or a Gmail account which can be associated with the AZ-500. This is just because sometimes the pass gives an error that this account has already used the free trial part. Secondly, there shouldn't be any confusion. Even if it takes up, you are confused between what exactly some of the things you might have gone ahead and configured on your Azure site, which can come into picture, and that creates confusion. Right. So the very first module, it starts from Azure Secure. It's about Azure Security Engine, and it talks about identity and access. Now, in simple, when we talk about identity and access, and I would be trying to make this session as much interactive as possible, because the more interaction or the more discussions we have, there are more points we come out with, and we understand it in a better way. So coming back to identity part, I hope you guys, when you're attending this course, you're aware of the basics of identity, whereas you have cloud identities, you have hybrid identities, and you have pass-through authentication, ADFS coming into picture, or AD Connect. So these are the basics you should be aware. But in any case, once we are doing the actual training, we would be talking about it a little bit about that part also, how exactly things are done and how you should be managing. Now, Microsoft, from the very first point of view, starts with something which is known as zero trust. So if I go about zero trust thing, what exactly is zero trust? In a simple term, if I explain you, typically earlier what used to happen was we used to come inside our corporate network, log in onto our server, and then go ahead and access whatever is available to us, where we are authorized to use a particular data. A simple example would be I log in onto my XYZ domain on my premises, and the Exchange server is available inside my organization. I don't have a problem. I would go ahead and access everything. But with things changing and the data and application going towards our cloud, this has become a little more challenging. And that's why Microsoft follows something which is known as zero trust model. Uh, Again, if I give you an example, it's something like that. I'm entering a building where the security guy knows me very nicely. He can identify me from my face. But then till the time I don't have proper access to enter the building, he doesn't allow me. Simple terms, I'm sitting in my corporate office, I'm accessing Exchange or my email, which is on Office 365. It doesn't trust, though it is having the right username and password. So Microsoft says go ahead and confirm the identity as much as possible. And one of the simple examples again for that would be enabling conditional access, where your multi-factor authentication can come into picture. I sign in onto my email ID, and with the username everything is fine, but then also I have to go ahead and enter the details related to my MFA, which can come on my mobile phone nowadays. So with most users now accessing apps and data from internet, most transaction components are no longer under organized. This is what I've been talking about, that you don't have any control. Your data is scattered anywhere. With cloud coming into picture, I would be going and accessing this data from anywhere in the world. And anyone who has got anyone who has got the access part or the identity part, my username and password, that person can go ahead and access this data. So identity as a service is a new thing which comes into the picture, and it simply talks about that how exactly I can trust you. So if I give you a small example over here, going on to the portal, where I would like to go ahead and share my screen. Just give me a minute. And okay, so if you guys can see, I would like to go and sign in onto a portal, which is my Azure portal, by account, and where the administrator is Holly. What you'll see over here is that once I go ahead and sign in, I'm prompted for multi-factor authentication. Why? Because I have enabled it. So once I go ahead and say yes, this is the first time sign in. If I just go ahead and say yes, remember me, it would always remember me on this particular system. So I'm logged in onto my portal, and one of the things which I'm just going to show you is conditional access part. So the very first thing which comes into picture is I'll go into the properties. This is the very first time when you would be going in, and one of the things which you will have to see is that Azure Active Directory premium account is activated, because conditional access is provided to you by that. While doing the lab, yes, we would be getting trial accounts, trial features available with all these things. So once my Azure Active Directory premium account is activated, I can go ahead and check manage security defaults, and let me just show you something quickly over here. Now, if you see, when I say yes, it says it looks like you have custom conditional access policy. Now, this particular option was always available when I go ahead and click no, and below over here I would be seeing these options. Now in my case I've already enabled it, so it's a one-time thing, that's why I cannot show it to you. But while attending the training, we all will be going through this particular step, so I will show you yes how exactly it is done. Now once this part is done, then the second part comes is, do I have policies available or not? And if you see, what I did was I just went ahead, clicked on security on my Azure Active Directory. It took me inside my company's security. Over there, I have a conditional policy, or the conditional access policy page available, and I would go ahead and create new policy. Now over here you can see there are few policies which are already created, but they are by default off. What I've done is I have created a MFA, and that's why my Holly account, which was the admin or a global admin account, was getting an option of putting in the extra identity through MFA. Now what I've done over here is I have created a policy called MFA. What I've secondly done is went ahead and assigned this policy to few people. Now I can go ahead, by default you will say none is assigned. What I've done is select users and groups. Under select users and group, I get an option of directory role. I click on this, and what I've done is go ahead and select global administrator over here. So global administrator, whoever would be the part of this global administrator, they will have to sign in with the multi-factor authentication. I can always go ahead and check this for other directory services also. So whoever I want, like one of them is billing administrator, one is compliance administrator, I can always go ahead and check this for all of these users. Another thing is I can go ahead and say all guests and external users also. So whoever I want, or simplest thing, all users. Okay, since this is already configured, I'm not configuring it, but just wanted to show it to you. Now, once this particular thing is done, where my group, which was global administrator, I have given ahead and applied a policy over there that these people would require MFA. Now, which cloud apps I want to include now? Either I can go ahead and say all cloud apps, but in my case, if you see, I have selected Microsoft Teams. That means whenever Holly is trying, or any global administrator is trying to log on to Microsoft Teams, that person will have to sign in with multi-factor authentication. Fine, this part is also done. Then the third part comes is conditions. Which conditions are supposed to be met? Now in conditions, you will see there are many other things available. Sign in risk. If I click on this, it says hi. Now, about this high, low, medium thing, we would be talking in the actual session. But just to make you understand, high means it's very critical application and it has to meet certain criteria before a person can log in. Device platform. I have an option of selecting which devices are allowed. I am accessing Outlook from my Android phone, iOS or Windows. I can allow all of them over here. Location. To secure my data, I can select which location. All trusted locations, then I will have to go ahead and add specific locations. Any location with data on cloud, typically I would go ahead and select any location. But if my company is very rigid, I can always go ahead and select specific locations. Client app. This is again, so one of the things which you will see is wherever you see the preview part, that means Microsoft is going ahead and going to apply these new features or new things onto your cloud, and you can always go ahead and test it. Now this client app, whether it would be on the browser, whether it would be on the mobile app, I can go ahead and select that. Right, so again, I'm leaving everything on default, just making you understand what exactly things can be configured. Conditions I've selected. Now I go ahead and see access control. In access control, I have options of saying grant or block the access. Grant the access when require one of the selected controls. So now in this case, I have gone ahead and selected multi-factor authentication. If I go ahead and select require all selected, then maybe my device, maybe I go ahead and check require approved client list. When I select all these three and I've selected require all selected controls, all three should met. Typically a very rigid environment. In my case, I have just gone ahead and say require multi-factor authentication, require all the selected controls. There's only one selected control which is already applied. Based on this, it will go ahead and tell me grant or block the access. Then we have session control, which says whether I need a sign-in frequency, how many times in a day I would go ahead and be asked for sign-in. Every 2 hours I can be asked for a sign-in. I'm not selecting all these things, but this is how your conditional policy for MFA will come into picture. And I have options related to enable policy on, off, or report only. Off, obviously, it is created and kept it for later usage. Report only, it will not get applied, but whenever the user will try to sign in, it will report me, yes, this is what the options would be available. Right, that was a small demo which I wanted to give you guys so that you have an idea how the online training would be going on. You would be getting this access to your portal. I would be providing you the details related to the lab, and you can do it on your own. They are simple labs, but you have to understand it in a proper way. Right, guys, that's it from my side, and I hope I will see you in the actual session.
Thank you everyone for watching this demo. I hope to see you in the actual session. You can connect with us on the given email ID, that is info@formasiantechnologica.com. Thank you.